Hello, Slacker friends. Welcome to the internet's best ever music panel show. We break down the week's biggest news stories and music, ask stupid questions, and we filter it through three brains every week. This panel show is to music stories and the week in news to what being a total goth freak is to Phoebe Bridgers. So if you've joined us on the podcast, lots of love to you. If you're watching it on the Slacker YouTube channel, then you know what to do. You've got to subscribe and you've got to like hit the bell and do all the rest of those things. If you're listening on the podcast RSS feed, then hello to you. I'd say you've been here for quite some time. And big up everybody who is supporting the Patreon as well. Patreon.com/Slacker podcast. We're putting up loads of exclusive podcasts, exclusive playlists. We will be giving free tickets away to things whenever we can actually see each other in the flesh again. And that is all of the contractually obliged stuff that I have to say at the start of a podcast before we get into meet who our Slacker friends are this week.
Could you love this? Will this one be right? Who's that?
The whirlwind shaking up traditional music industry, a great singer-songwriter, and someone who I've had on my podcast and radio show many times before, Dodie Clark. And this isn't Dodie, this is a cover version that I've got, because if I get original songs from people, it'll get taken down off YouTube. So I've got a cover of Chloe Mariando.
She's brilliant.
Doing a cover of I'm Being Honest.
That's better than mine. Use that instead.
Dodie, how you doing?
I'm good, yeah. I'm really good. I'm pretty tired, but I feel very ready to chat. I don't know why. I just woke up speaking.
Damn right. Right. Well, I mean, you've got a bigger cup of tea than I do, and I have a pretty huge cup of tea. Put up the camera. Yours isn't even a cup. Yours is like some sort of like.
You're not as big as you think. Am I just really small?
You're just a little tiny little woman that lives in a cup. And our second Slacker friend today. You could be dancing on tabletops.
Wow.
Wearing high heels.
Wow, I sound good. I've never been that in tune.
The smooth voice from Northampton, Bruno Major. This is a cover of Bruno Major's track by Sam Kim. Have you heard this one before?
No, it's so in tune. It's like it's almost too in tune. I love it.
Isn't it upsetting but also amazing when you hear people sing your songs better than you wrote them? Yeah. I always write as if I can belt and I can't, and then other people can, and I'm like, you know what? I should just give this to you.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Sometimes I take inspiration from covers. I'll see somebody will do a certain like run or
oh my god, me too.
I just like start just using it, and yeah, give them
me
no
too.
credit. Sorry.
If I play it like I wrote this song, and like this note is like I wrote it a very different way, and then when I started like hearing covers and like playing it live, everyone would sing just a little bit higher, like as if it was like an octave rather than the other one. Right. And I was like, oh, that sounds better. And then I just like sang it like that instead. I guess I just sung it a bit sharp, and everyone was like, that's the note.
I've got you guys cover versions absolutely sorted. I think they're two of the biggest ones that I could find of your tracks. The Sam Kim one's got like a couple 100,000, and the Chloe Mariando one's got loads as well. So I've obviously started us on the back foot because you're both like going, oh, I wish we were as good as those guys. But no, we got you on because you're like incredibly
they were pretty good,
gifted musicians, and I want to hear what you have to think and say about the week in music and some of the really well put together, well thought out, not done in 15-minute questions that I sent over to you guys.
They were pretty good. I was like, these are great. I can't wait to answer them.
Before we start, how's your week been going? Like, what's new with you guys?
Dodie, would you like to take this one?
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Bruno. I have an empty flat down the road now, just because of like random circumstances, and I've decided I'm going to put all of my equipment in it because I have just like a lot of stuff in my bedroom and it doesn't quite work. So yeah, I might make some sort of a studio, except I don't really know how to do that. But it is very exciting to think that I might be the kind of person to just wake up and walk to my studio and work.
That sounds pretty nice. You need to start eating loads of eggs, because like you can get the egg cartons and put them on the wall at soundproofing.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
You
All right, yeah.
taking that
I should
one,
probably
you're
just
like, "What?"
buy soundproof stuff.
Well, you could do that, Heather. Bruno, how about you? How's things going with you? What's new?
This is the first week I've returned to any semblance of productivity or work. I took the 2 months of lockdown completely off.
Good for you.
I got back into the studio and I was obviously just like, how do I play the piano? But it's slowly coming back to me. The synapses are relinking, and I'm making a new EP for an artist called Eloise.
Oh, sweet.
Amazing. So yeah, we're having a great time. We're in the studio making music, which is really the best thing that I like to do.
What did you do for like 3 months or whatever, however long lockdown was, when you weren't like making music or anything? Like, were you just in stasis? Were you just like sitting there like this?
Yeah, man. I don't really, time is a concept that I don't necessarily subscribe to anyway. But it did very much feel like time itself became entirely meaningless. And the 2 months could well have been 3 days. I was at my parents' house, just sort of waking up, walking the dog, doing some ab crunches, playing computer games, and going back to bed and repeating ad infinitum.
Do you know what? You would do really well in prison.
Oh my God, I dream about prison every night. I think because I'm like convinced I'm in one. Was that not really?
My haircut.
Was it nice? Did you feel like refreshed? Because I've been doing pretty much that as well, minus the dog, and I feel mental.
Yeah, man. I'm personally just sort of motivated purely by the fear of failure. So the only time I ever take off is Christmas, because I know no one else is doing anything. Whereas during the lockdown, because I was aware that no one was doing anything, I was like, fine, this is my time. I'm gonna buy rollerblades.
Release an amazing album, so like putting that out and having people listening to it and loving it, you're just like, sweet, I didn't fail. I can relax.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You know what? Do you want to be my PR person?
Absolutely. I could talk about this album forever. I love it so much. It's just so classic. It's beautiful.
Guys, this is such a lovely group that we've got, our Slacker friends this week. Let's start in with question number 1. These clips that I'm playing are getting like more ridiculous as the week goes on.
You've done good research. Well done.
MIDI versions and MIDI versions and covers. This is clearly Eminem, but we'll hear when it gets into this. But that doesn't sound like Eminem, that bit, does it? Sounds like some honky tonk.
They're trying to transcribe rapping. It's quite cool.
It sounds like Randy Newman's about to sing an Eminem song.
Oh, wow.
You gotta lose yourself in the music moment.
Eminem has recently criticized those people not wearing face masks on his new collaboration with Kid Cudi, which came out last week. My question that I posed to you, Dodie and Bruno, is what has been your favorite lockdown musical content? This can be a live stream, it can be a live gig, it can be some sort of mad social media experiment, idea, whatever. It's over to you. Starting with you, Dodie.
Okay, so I have 2 because my friends have just been awful. Awful. Oh my God, did not mean that. Awesome. Wow, I've been awful. Tessa Violet and Orla Gartland have both done these like incredible sort of online concerts, like festivals. Tessa Violet has done something called Something to Look Forward to. Orla Gartland did Indoor Season, and they're basically just like this great like live setup where they have like multiple camera angles and like guests come on and like play. And it's just been so cool and so interactive, and I'm so jealous of them. No, they're awesome, and it's been really fun to watch.
That's wicked. Like you're like you should like have a collective by this stage, because like you guys like just you hang out in each other's videos and stuff like that. You support each other quite a lot. I like that. Yeah,
I'm so lucky. Ola literally lives like there as well, so I could like we've been seeing a lot of each other from a distance in lockdown.
If you stuck your head out the window right now and shouted Orla, do you reckon she shared Dodie back?
Genuinely Well, maybe not right now, but honestly, she could. Yes.
Bruno, same question to you. What has been the sort of lockdown musical experience that you've enjoyed most?
Um, I'm going to go for a sort of slightly more holistic answer, or vague, whichever way we want to look at it. I think it's been amazing to me the level of disconnect that we have been forced to experience as a society in general. We're all stuck in our own places physically, and we're all reaching out to try and experience like a community and a global empathy. And I feel that the proliferation of online performances and attempts by artists to reach people in a real way through a screen has been actually quite profound and uplifting, and shows that you can't really disconnect us because we are connected by our minds.
Oh, wow. Yeah, jeez.
So he's like, yes, I'll have that one too.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, okay. So like, I mean, across the whole spectrum, I haven't really watched that many live streams. I haven't really watched that many live gigs. Right. Moving us on to question 2 right now, which is kind of all about covers, right? Creeper have recently done a cover of Neil Young's Hey Hey My My, which is an amazing song, and Creeper an amazing band, which made me think of the question, what's the best cover version of a song that you've ever heard? And you can't say the intro music that I gave you earlier on in the show.
Who wants to go first? Bruno, I went first last time. You go.
Okay. Well, I sometimes find that the greatest songs are often written by people who don't have the greatest voices. Thinking like Leonard Cohen, Leon Russell are 2 examples. And then it takes somebody with an all-time great voice to bring that original idea to life in a way that the original singer couldn't have imagined. So I've gone with Donny Hathaway, A Song for You, which in my opinion is the greatest vocal performance by a male ever. And it was originally written by a guy called Leon Russell, who is an amazing songwriter, but sounded a bit like a parrot with tonsillitis when he sang. Yeah.
Wow.
What's the track called again?
Donny Hathaway, A Song for You.
I've never heard it.
I think I have heard that before. It's one of those ones where I like really recognize the name.
Bring tissues. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh.
Can you not just sing it for us? Like that would be way easier.
Okay. Here goes. I've been so many places in my life and times. Do you really want me to sing it? I can actually do it.
Yeah, go on. Go ahead. It's great.
It's a cover version.
A lot of songs. I made some bad rhymes. Acted out my life in stages. I'm actually not going to do it. It's just quite embarrassing.
That was beautiful.
That was pretty good. Hold on.
My answer is Bruno's cover of A Song for You. Kidding.
I like
Wow,
that.
I have to listen to that.
I like that fancy looking piano that you've got behind you. It feels like it's got no top on. It's like you've got a topless piano.
Yeah, I bought this piano for £500, and I carried it up to the flat with the piano man and a homeless man who decided he wanted to hang out with us for the day.
Wow.
And I've written every song I've ever written on it, pretty much, and it's really out of tune and never goes in tune. But Ray Davies once said, all the best songs can be played on an out of tune piano, so I remember that every time I play.
Wow.
I was just thinking, like, throughout that, I was like, what a shit job a piano man must have. Like their only job is to lug pianos up and down stairs all day.
Truly.
You would need to be one hard bastard.
Jacked. Yeah.
Dodie, what's your favorite cover version?
I can't think about like my favorite of all time right now, but Leanna Havas just released a cover of Weird Fishes, and oh my god, it changed my life. Like genuinely, I was just walking outside. I went for a walk. And I was like, oh, Leanna Havas new song. Oh, it's a Radiohead cover. Oh, and then I just like walked outside and listened to it. And then when it got to that harmony breakdown, I honestly just wept because I was so in love with life and music. You know those moments where you're like, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful I can hear this and feel it in the way that I do. I'm so glad to be alive. And like those moments are so rare and I look for them all the time. But yeah, I found it in that cover. God, she's insane. I love her so much.
Yeah, Leanna Havas is the best. Like, what's really weird about that is like when I was on my radio show, I played Radiohead's Weird Fishes the week before that cover came out, and then I played the cover of it the week after, and it's great because it's like sort of half-timed
Yeah.
as well, so it kind of works. I like both. I don't. It's almost sacrilege to say that somebody's covered Radiohead better than Radiohead.
Yeah, I guess I don't really mean that. Like, it's different. It's just so beautiful.
Yeah.
She brings a depth to it that, oh man,
Big
yeah,
time.
it broke me.
What I suppose, like, on a sort of flip side of this, like, have you ever heard a cover version of your songs, or like by an artist or whatever, that you've been like, whoa?
Oh gosh, yeah. There's a girl called Lizzie McAlpine who covered both of our songs. Bruno, she covered yours quite recently, and anything that she sings and like adds her harmony to is just a million times better. And yeah, she's so awesome.
What about you, Bruno? You going to go with the same one?
Yeah, well, there's Lizzie, and there's also Eloise, the artist who I'm producing at the moment. I basically met her because she posted a cover of my song Second Time, and it was just so much better than my version. So I immediately like asked her to work with me, and like now she's managed by my manager, and she was my keys player for 2 years. So, you know, seeing that cover on that little screen actually led to me meeting one of my best mates, which is pretty cool.
Wow.
So sweet.
It does work that way, isn't that? Like the OG story of Justin Bieber was like he was just putting stuff up on YouTube and Usher found him.
Yeah.
So there you go, kids. Anybody who's listening to this right now and wants to stick covers up, do it. You never know what might happen.
I was talking of Leanne and covers. So Leanne's a really good friend of mine, and I once had a party at my flat, and it was like the early hours of the morning, and it was one of those ones where like there was just a few stragglers at the party left over, and it was me and Leanne, and she picked up a guitar and played Julia by the Beatles to me, just the two of us. And it was one of those moments where I can't really remember if it was real or not, but I just was like crying, and it was really beautiful. And yeah, just want to say that I think she's like the voice of her generation, basically.
Absolutely.
There you go. I reckon Leanne La Havas has the covers market sewing up with answers from Bruno and Dodie. Right. Our next part is this.
You were in the parking lot earlier. That's how I know you.
This is like where you get in a time or an example of meeting a celebrity or a musician or an artist or somebody that you kind of either maybe like cringe about or you're like super excited about. Starting with you, I by the way, I imagine both of you have plenty here to go.
I don't. I literally can't
Really?
think of anything. Yeah, genuinely. I don't know why.
You've never like accidentally spilled red sauce on Harry Styles's.
I'll tell you half of one because I don't really want to get into it. But a while back, I was trying to earn money, so I was a presenter for a while. That was fun. I did a lot of things, and one of them was to interview celebrities, and I can't remember which celebrity it was, but we were backstage at some kind of concert, and we had like 10 seconds with the guy. And so the producer was like, make sure you get these points in. It was sponsored, so it was like, get this and this and this. And I was like, hey, got it. I was really nervous. And then right before he came, I farted.
Oh.
And it was so obvious. And I was like, no. And then I interviewed him. And it was, yeah.
Oh, come on. Tell me who it was at least.
I don't know. I literally don't know. I can't remember his name. It's online somewhere, but there's no way in hell I'm ever telling you.
So you do know, but you're just not saying.
I can't remember his name. I could look it up, but why the heck would I want to do that?
The Pitbull.
No, it wasn't Pitbull. Why would it be Pitbull?
Well, I'm gonna tell everybody until you tell us who it was. I'm just gonna say that story was about Pitbull.
Cool.
Bruno, what about you?
I've honestly I've never really understood this being starstruck thing. I never feel weird about people that are famous because, you know, blah blah blah, fame is an illusion, etc. But I do very much get starstruck around people whose talent I am in awe of. And I once met Robert Plant, the singer of Led Zeppelin, who in my opinion is the single greatest like male rock vocalist ever, and sort of like a semi-deity in my eyes. And I met him and I just had a coffee with the guy. We were working in the same studio. And after he walked off, he said to me, I was going to be a quantity surveyor and ended up being a musician. So remember just to enjoy yourself and have a smile on your face at all times. He walked off and sort of into the mist, I imagined. And then I just screamed and did about 17 roly-polies down the hallway in front of everybody. So yeah, I was extremely starstruck.
Oh my God, I've just remembered. I had a similar reaction to when I met Emily King at my New York show. She came backstage and she was like, oh my God, can't we see you live? And then she just left and I lay down. I just lay down on the ground in front of everyone. I was just like, I don't know what happened, but oh no, I did it when I met her. Great, well done, memory. Yeah, I straight up just like lay on the floor, like flat on my back, just like, I can't deal with this right now. I love you. Yeah.
If you like, do you think like people who are that like sort of famous and that at that level of celebrity know that they are? Because if I was at that level and knew I was, I would probably have smoke bombs that I would carry around with me, so that when I was leaving a room, I actually would legit let off a smoke bomb.
Remember, smile.
Yeah. And just remember, brush your teeth. There you go. Out like that. That's pretty good. Robert Plant and Emily King, the answers there. Moving on to
now I'm coughing up like I never smoked a pack.
So Haim said in their recent interview in NME that women make the best rock music, which is hard to disagree with considering the amazing artists around in 2020. But it got me thinking about the question overall. Who is your favorite a woman rock god of all time? I've got so many. I'm gonna jump in on this as well, but like
I have two main ones. The first is obviously Hayley Williams. Like, God, she's been an icon for so long. Yes, she absolutely is a rock god. I can't think of any.
Do now? Is she still in Paramore? Is that still going?
She's just released this new album, like this whole project called Petals for Armor, which is like her solo project, and it's awesome. It's oh my God, she's just so cool. It's really cool. It's kind of like similar but very personal, maybe a little darker than Paramore. She's still.
Her voice is absolutely unbelievable.
Yes. Oh my God. Fun fact.
I don't think people understand like what a like all-time great vocalist she is. Yeah,
she used to do these like online kind of lessons with this guy who I was obsessed with for a while called Brett Manning, who like taught music and like taught singing, like vocal coaching, and had all these DVDs and stuff which I never bought or whatever. But I would watch so many of her like talking about her mixed voice and like belting, and the technicalities of it must be just so refined.
She's also been like a huge artist for a long time. Like I think like she was still in her teens when Paramore was kicking off. Like so she's never really had any moment out of the spotlight, has she?
Yeah, no. But she's still so strong and so talented, and I think she must have found those boundaries like pretty soon because she had to. So thankfully she's still surviving and still thriving.
I used to be in a band that were obsessed with Paramore. We were an emo metal band. I had a big fringe like this and I painted my nails black.
Yes.
What was your band called?
Oh dude, we had a plethora of names. Originally we were called Love, Loathe, Repeat.
Oh my God.
Then we became Hearts in Atlantis. I think we ended up being 12 Titans was the final band name. But
that's better.
I used to shred, I tapped. I love that stuff.
Wow.
There's something about like I know we're talking about like rock gods, women, but like something about tapping is so like teenage boy-y, isn't it? Like just tapping. Like, there's no need for that in music ever, really, at any.
But it's so impressive.
It is. It's a magic trick, and it's actually really easy to do. If you just go bing bong, bing bong, bing bong, bing bong, and then loads of notes come out, and people are like, he's playing the guitar there. How does he do that?
Oh my
I
God.
immediately want to sleep with him.
I want to say my second woman, female rock god, which is this woman called Wallace Bird. She's an Irish musician, and she slams on her acoustic so hard she always breaks a string, but it always sounds amazing. She like uses, I don't even know what it is, she just stomps about all over the place. She was like lying down at her last show, and she screams, but it's guttural and beautiful. Like, I don't know, her singing, she clearly just sings from the heart, because her voice sounds wrecked in a fantastic way sometimes. Haim is so right. Women are the best.
What's her name again? The artist you're talking about now?
Wallace Bird.
Wallace Bird. I've heard that name. I need to go and check her out though. She sounds incredible. Bruno, who are you saying?
I think there's a strange thing with women in music, where they seem to be not appreciated for their instrumental abilities, and I think it still happens now when you look at somebody like Leanne LaHavis, for example, who is an unbelievable guitar player.
Yeah.
No one talks about it. You know, it's always like Ed Sheeran's the guy who ends up on Total Guitar Magazine, and he's just strumming like a G chord.
Yeah,
but Leanne's playing very complex stuff, and Laura Marling as well, like incredible guitar players.
Yes.
But it goes all the way back. Like, I'm going to go with Nina Simone, who is one of my biggest influences as a musician, but she is literally like a Chopin level classical and jazz pianist. She's a true genius, virtuoso, improvisational musician on a piano, and no one ever talks about it because basically she's a woman. So I just want to say, appreciate women's instrumental abilities more, and I love Nina Simone.
Heck yeah.
Good answer. Good answers all round. Mine were, I wrote down Patti Smith, Stevie Nicks, and Ellie from Wolf Alice.
I was going to go for Stevie Nicks, but I was like, that's pretty obvious. I'm so glad you mentioned her, though.
Big basic P tag. So the next bit that we have got is... Oh, hold on. I hit the wrong button. There we go.
That was 1,000,000 years ago.
So 1,000,000 years ago, or more like 7 years ago, in 2013 at Tea in the Park in Scotland, there were 53 arrests for petty crimes, and 5 people were thrown out for using pyrotechnics. I used to go to the Twin Festival with Tea in the Park Oxygen, which would have probably had the similar numbers, if not more. Crazy Irish, crazy Scottish festival goers. I've seen some really fucking messed up shit at festivals, some really crazy stuff. And that is the question.
This is such a dangerous question.
What's the most crazy thing you've seen?
I'm such a festival noob. I really haven't seen that much, apart from your basic, like vomit and like pills. But like, yeah, what? Tell me some stories, because I'm such a noob. I was going to say my answer is like the amount of people who turned up to my set. It's so crazy.
Did you not go to festivals as like a punter before? I suppose you've been doing this since you were quite young, so like you probably haven't had a chance to go.
Genuinely, no. I went to Reading when I was 17, and then I feel like that was my experience and I was done with it. And then since then, it's just sort of been like for a few days at a time. But yeah, no, I really haven't seen anything too crazy. I don't know why. Just like you've seen like blood in mosh pits.
Yeah.
Really, yeah.
I'm a seasoned veteran when it comes to going to festivals. Like I used to go to several every summer, and some of the most mad stuff, they've all been really at Irish festivals, really, because people at Irish festivals are absolutely crazy. I've seen people climb the inside of the circus tent, like a punter who's drunk with no glove on, but carrying like a milk carton full of Buckfast. And they climb to the top of the tent and just stay there. So nobody, like, it was during MGMT, I think, and nobody was watching MGMT. Just the whole crowd was staring at this guy who was about, I don't know, like 100 feet in the air, just waiting to fall off and die. And everybody's like
terrifying.
Yeah, I've seen lots of other stuff, like lots of mad stuff, and lots of people burning tents and all sorts of things like that. Crazy. What about you, Bruno?
Oh man, I once saw a sort of like geometric lattice structure come out my own head, and show me in a palpable way the connection between myself and the universe. And I realized I realized in that moment that I was the universe experiencing itself, and that I was the sentient part of the universe, and that we were all one and the same.
Wow, that is the crazy thing you've seen.
Craziest thing I've ever seen in a music
What
festival.
were you on? I don't know if I'm allowed to ask that. No, you were on life. You were on the universe.
That was a great time at Glastonbury.
Yeah.
Thank God. I mean, yeah, it puts my seeing Burning Tents story to shame, really, doesn't it?
Geometric shape. Wow, like a map of of being.
Yeah. So yeah, like lots of different answers from nothing really to geometric shapes to burning tents, which brings us on to our unpopular opinion. This is something I've just recently put in. I mean, like like Slacker Friends is completely brand new anyway. Everything is recent, but I always think that there's a lot to be said about having an unpopular opinion in music. Like, this band are good, this song's great, where everybody else thinks the opposite. Maybe something that goes against the grain that you think is either overrated, underrated, or an unpopular opinion. What do you guys think of? Maybe I'll go back to you on this one, Bruno. To go back to your geometric shaped head.
To be honest, I don't want to drag anyone, but I do have a real issue with auto-tune at the moment being sort of ubiquitously used in all pop music, because there's no such thing as a note. In nature, we don't have like a note A or a note B. There is an infinite spectrum, a frequency spectrum, and it's all in tune with itself, but it's all wonderfully slightly out, and everything's a bit wobbly and a bit like rough around the edges. And in a lot of the music that you hear, everything is auto-tuned and it's so perfect, and we're deleting the natural beauty of our voices. And that's why when you listen to Carole King or Nina Simone or Ella Fitzgerald, all of those records, even Frank Sinatra, the stuff that I really love, it's the slight tuning inflections that give it life and give it expression. And we are gridding it out in the same way that we are tuning our faces on Instagram to make them perfect and therefore making them more ugly in the process. We are tuning our vocals to make them more beautiful, but actually making them more ugly in the process. So I'm going to say, fuck auto-tune.
Nice.
Well, actually, we've got Cher coming on the podcast next week, and I'm sure she'll disagree. I like that one. I like that answer. Auto-tune. There's I can think of maybe one, like, on one.
Unless it's like used as a style, like
like James Blake used it really beautifully.
Yeah.
Bon Iver.
But you're so right.
Used it a bit. Yeah, I mean, there's one thing I suppose like you guys will know this better than me, but it's something I've always wanted to know, is when you have a less than gifted like vocalist live, right? And like say like a pop star, I think Robbie Williams had it, right, where he would have somebody behind the monitor desk or whatever, somebody on stage tuning him live. Is that possible? Does that happen, or have I just made that up?
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah.
Wow, cool.
How does that happen? Does somebody sit behind them with like a keyboard?
No, like they must be just singing into like auto-tune, if you know what I mean. The same way you can have like a plugin on, like reverb or something like echoing out. You can just sing into auto-tune.
That makes so much
sense.
Me
Wow.
behind the keyboard, but the keyboard going, that's a G.
Oh, that's a little bit sharp, just a little bit.
He's fucked up the F.
No, definitely not. That would be insane. Yeah, damn, preach. Heck yeah. Similarly, my answer is about structure. I think structure is overrated in a song. If a song, I won't listen to a song because it's over 3 minutes long, or it has like a certain amount of like hooks or verses or choruses or whatever. Like a song doesn't need a middle eight. If it's a good song and there are moments that you love, then you're going to come back to it. And I'm sort of sick of readjusting songs I've already written to fit a conventional structure, or like elongating them to be over 3 minutes long, although won't be played on radio. Bullshit.
Is it difficult to know when you're finished with the structure of a song, or is that something that comes quite
like I will be honest, like sometimes I've written songs and I'm like, this isn't quite right, and someone will suggest something and I'll be like, yeah, okay, maybe. Like I've been glad to redo songs even though I've been like, no, I wrote it this way. But sometimes I'm like, I know what I'm doing, leave me at it.
What do you think about that, Bruno? Like when it comes to structure in your music?
I hear you. I mean, I'm actually a sort of proponent of very classic songwriting. I do love the art of writing classic songs, and I suppose part of the inherent identity of a classic song is the song structure itself. But at the same time, I don't really like middle eights. I don't have middle eights in any of my songs. It's just interesting seeing how it all develops. You know, like we never used to have choruses, and then suddenly we had choruses, and then choruses disappeared, and we have like pop drops with weird like dolphin noises. And then I don't know. It's just like it just changes. It's just fashion, and it doesn't matter. A good song's a good song, no matter how it's made or what structure it's in, really.
Yes, I agree with like it's fun to write to a structure. It's like poetry, it's like crafting, and there's something so smart about that to like fit something in a certain way and have it so neat. Like for example, Bruno, just being your PR manager again, To Let a Good Thing Die is like so obviously perfect. Like the way each thing's like set up and then like revealed is heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But
Thank you.
yeah, there are moments in other songs where it's just like this long, flowy, timey-wimey type thing, which gives a similar feeling. But yeah, there is. I think what I mean is like let that be an option, but also let like a good structure be another option.
Okay, guys, it's time for this. Who's your hero of the week, Bruno?
I am going to say my hero of the week is the doctors and nurses who are in the hospitals right now looking after everyone, because there are a lot of people that are sick with coronavirus, and also a really good friend of mine and my drummer is currently in hospital and he's not very well, so I just want to say I really appreciate everyone who's doing their bit and risking their lives for everyone else in the hospitals and the NHS.
Perfect, man. Perfect. You couldn't have said it any better. Took the words right out of my mouth. Dodie, what about you?
Mine is similarly like vague. I think everyone who is everyone who paused their motives and like careers to post about Black Lives Matter and join in with that movement and maybe navigate having a release around the same time and sort of knowing that now is the time to put that aside and now also like the way that people are sort of integrating it in with their daily lives and their daily posting to be like, this is just as important, and like finding a way to still speak about it forever because it's not over and it's never over.
So we've got like worthy heroes, but do we have worthy villains?
You're a piece of garbage, a real shitty piece of garbage.
Wow, this is such a radio show.
Isn't it? Like you can't. Like I try my best to do podcasts and stuff, but you just can't take the radio guy out of the radio.
You really can't. I have a villain. I'm going to talk about it. My villains are the Irish radio stations that have terrible gender disparity in the top Irish women that they play, particularly FM 104, which have no women in the top Irish 20 acts that they play. Zero, zilch.
I saw that list go up. Was it last week or the week before? And
I don't know. My friend Laura's been talking about it. It's so embarrassing. It's so embarrassing.
How?
I don't know. There are so many amazing Irish musicians. Like
what the
just
hell?
watch normal people. There's like hundreds. Oh my god, it's ridiculous.
And there's lots of
pure sexism.
Really good new Irish artists coming through. That like, I mean, I'm playing shit tons on my show, like Luz and Big Pig and April, just to think off the top of my head, and I know there's loads more.
Truly how it's not like there aren't any options. It's pure, it's just sexist.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty decent. Bruno, what about you?
I don't know if you guys are Twitterers. Do you do Twitter?
A bit.
Yeah,
I try to stay off it.
Man, I mean, basically J.K. Rowling has just
my god,
it. Like basically there's sort of like the Queen, and then there's J.K. Rowling. Like she had all of the goodwill in the world. She's literally the person who made Harry Potter. And for some reason, this week, she's decided to use her infinite platform to bring down the trans community and basically criticize and denigrate them, which is so mental.
So damaging. It's
like,
so upsetting. Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. And even if she does have those extremely unpopular and slightly weird views, why would you say it on Twitter and destroy your public goodwill? It's absolutely baffling. So I'm going to say J.K. Rowling, unbelievably, is my villain of the week.
It's hard to think back like about 3 months ago or even 3 weeks ago that saying J.K. Rowling is a villain just wouldn't have washed with anybody. But
no.
Having the view, yeah, I mean, you can pretty much end a career pretty easily in 140 characters or less.
She's a complex human being, and obviously she's done a lot of good, but this is just so upsetting and maybe unforgivable unless she listens to actual trans people and educates herself and does work to undo the damage that she's done for the young trans kids. Then I am just I'm done with her.
It's so sad. It's like I remember when Robin Williams died, Russell Brand wrote this beautiful eulogy saying that the saddest thing about his death was that somebody who used to lift us out of the sad narrative of life had now become part of the sad narrative. And it was like doubly depressing when he died. And it's the same with J.K. Rowling. She's a person who spreads a message of love, and her books are proponents of goodwill and like anti-racist virtues like socialism. And now she has become part of the kind of like sad, angry anti-trans narrative, which sort of makes it doubly difficult.
Time now for you to spread the message of good new music.
I fucking love this band.
I love doing that again. You hit two buttons at the same time.
Yeah.
Let us try again.
I fucking love this band. They are the best band ever, period.
Period.
Whoa.
That guy really means it. So yeah, this is your opportunity to spread the gospel and the good word of any artist that you love or enjoy or think isn't getting enough attention on. Dodie, who you going with?
I mentioned Lizzie McAlpine earlier just because she is so talented, but I feel like she's just going to blow up, so she doesn't need my help. Let me think. I found a song on my Discover Weekly the other day that was just so beautiful. I don't know if I can think of a specific band, but whoever Zach Villa is.
I've played him on the radio. He's good.
There's a song that just came up called Sore Throat, and I've listened to it like a million times in the past like 2 days. Just like on repeat. God, it's gorgeous.
Zach Villa is really good. Bruno, what about you?
I'm gonna go with Eloise again. I don't know how I can overestimate the level of genius that is within this girl. She is, in my eyes, a modern day Ella Fitzgerald, and I don't say that lightly. Billie Eilish loves her music and has been screaming about it from the rooftops, and I'm so sure that very soon everyone else is. Eloise, she is a once in a generation genius superstar, and her music is incredible, so check her out.
Wow, that genuinely just sounds like a better version of this.
I fucking love this band.
It does. It's more sincere.
Band ever, period.
No, it definitely does. That brings us to the end of the podcast. Guys, thank you so much for taking the time out to chat to me. Thank you for spreading the gospel of good new music as well. It gives me something to go and listen to later on. And thank you very much for being my Slacker friends.
Thanks so much for having us. Great questions. Great little intros.
Thank you.